Welcome back to First Look, the show where David and I walk you guys through a brand new upcoming game. We're super excited to bring you guys this game. This one's called Court of the Dead Mourners Call. It's from Project Raygun in conjunction with Sideshow Collectibles, a company I've been collecting collectibles from for a long, long time.
Yeah, if you hadn't seen, we have a couple Sideshow Collectibles right here. These are from the property. The cool thing about this is their own original IP. Sideshow Collectibles has done so many collectibles in the Marvel Universe, all sorts of ones. This is their original IP, and they started this with a collectibles line, and now it is coming to the table in the form of a board game.
It is an area control style game. Dudes on a map for the most part. However, there's no dice rolling in the game as far as combat. It's very simple to play and pick up. However, there's a lot of depth within the game. Heaven and hell are locked in this eternal combat, right?
Yeah.
And so you have the All-Taker, or Death himself, and he has created the Court of the Dead, which are his lieutenants who are going out there trying to put a stop to this war. And to do that, he's called upon the mourners. Each of us are representing one of the mourners within the game. These are three different factions. You have the Bone faction, the Flesh faction, and the Spirit faction, all which give you unique abilities as you play.
Yeah, these are represented, if you can see here, by these different groups of miniatures plus cards. You're going to be able to recruit those miniatures themselves or recruit cards that come with one of those miniatures.
Right, so we have a 4-player game set up here. We're just going to walk you through briefly how the game is played. The game gets its name from the Court of the Dead itself. These Court of the Dead cards are in the center of the table, and these are all kinds of lieutenants who give you special abilities. You're going to be playing and drafting these cards round after round, trying to lock positions within the game.
Yeah, not only lock positions in an area control sort of way, but these cards in and of themselves have two abilities. So once you draft them and then you're playing them, you're choosing a top or a bottom action, some of which just give you some of the currencies you're going to be spending in the game or some of the things you want to be collecting.
The board itself represents the underworld. The underworld is broken into a number of different regions. These are where you're going to be placing your miniatures through the course of the game, trying to get area control within them in order to gain the benefit of them. On the bottom of the board, you're going to see a guild track. These guild tracks represent the 6 different types of miniatures. 2 miniatures belong to each of the 3 different types of factions within the game. These 2 will give you an area control benefit from controlling them.
Yeah, it's really cool. Each of these guilds, there's 2 for the bone, 2 for the spirit, and 2 for the flesh. They correlate to the different miniatures in each of those factions, if you will, or guilds that you acquire. So as you acquire those miniatures, you're automatically going to be increasing your position in any of these factions down here.
Each player is also going to start with a mourner card, depending upon which of the 3 factions they choose at the start of the game. Each player is going to be given 3 ulterior motive cards. These will give you end of the game points, but no one knows exactly what one you've chosen, but they better know the faction that you've picked. Once you pick that faction, then you're allowed to choose a mourner from one of the starting cards. They are not only going to give you a specific guild character, but they're also going to give you an ongoing ability. So that's one of the cool things about the game is you're going to be building this tableau of mourners in front of you that you can key off round after round.
Yeah, the mourners are yet another one of the actions you can take. There's a decent list of actions you can take and a wide variety there. But the mourners are going to give you actions that you can tap once per turn or once per round and actually do something on the board. You can play the game without collecting a bunch of mourners. You can just get a couple, or you can play your game that way. There's a lot of different routes to points here.
Now, we've played the game already. One of the things that we all enjoyed is that it is a very competitive game. However, there is a cooperative aspect in it. So as we talked about, heaven and hell are locked in this battle, and you're trying to put an end to the war. However, you have the celestial track and you have this dread script track on the left and right hand side. Players cooperatively are going to be moving these tracks up and down, trying to control them. Both of them have really bad repercussions.
Exactly, and the way these things work, like Jeremy said, it has a co-op feeling. This is in no way, shape, or form a cooperative game, but when you're talking about dealing with these tracks at the end of each round, you are definitely talking around the table of like, okay, how much are we going to put in? Because some of the mechanisms with the celestial track here, you're going to be actually blind bidding some amount of Etheria, and you have to meet a certain quota. If you don't, everyone or most people are going to get hurt. Maybe you're going to come out on top.
One of the cool things about the Dread Script track too is it contains the number of players that are allowed in each of these different zones within the game. As the Dread Script moves up, Heaven and Hell start to look more at what's going on within the board, and it starts to penalize players for having too many characters in each of those regions.
Yeah, and it adds some interesting gameplay mechanics too, because as you put people in, you might actually want to put an extra person into an area to tip the scale over there, just so that you can fire off that Dread's Grip track, so that maybe you come out on top.
Right.
Jeremy, you might have 3 guys in there. I might put one guy in there, and I might survive depending on how things shake out. You know, one other thing we haven't talked about, in addition to the ulterior motive, which everyone has from the very beginning of the game, each round you're going to take one of these Wallows cards. These are basically round-based objectives for each player, and they range from all sorts of things, and they also give a lot of flavor to the game. Some might just have you have a certain amount of influence on one of the tracks, whereas another one might actually give you sort of a mission to go to a certain territory, have presence there, and then once you're there on your turn, you can actually take an action to actually mock out a fight against a certain character or something like that. And if you win, you get some benefits. If you lose, you don't.
So we've played the game a couple times, and we absolutely love it. We invite you guys to come back in a couple weeks for round 1. It's a brand new show that we do. We'll play a couple rounds of the game on camera, and then we'll break to give you a battle report of our progress.
Yeah, in the meantime, take all of this in. There's a lot of beautiful components to this game. You'll get a better look, like Jeremy said, on round 1. But until then, thanks for watching, and catch us next time.